is a brand new live feed. Today is day number 6. I was gonna say number 5. Today is day number 6 of our sourdough bake-a-thon. That is 7 days, 7 different recipes, all using sourdough discard. It's almost over. Anyways, today it was voted that we make hot dog buns. So I do have a recipe that I used before that did not work out on live. So I'm trying it again in hopes that it works out. Okay. So we're gonna use 2 simple ingredients. I'm gonna use salt, we're gonna use butter, flour, water, and our discard. Now, if you've been following me, you know I keep my discard in the fridge. And right before we go live, maybe like an hour or two before, bring it to room temperature. So right now, we're using Frederica. She's the baby of the bunch. She's the overflow from the big guy. And this is what she looks like. She's like this, which is for me good. She's yeasty. Like I'm trying to see if you can see the bubble. Like see the pockets? She's super active, which is for me right now is a good thing because we need this dough to explode. Not explode, but rise and be nice and fluffy. So when I made this recipe previously, it was when I did my shrimp po' boy live. So I made the bread and I also made the shrimp coated in discard live. The bread didn't turn out good while we were on live, but I know the recipe is a good recipe because the remaining dough, I rolled it up and it was good. It was nice. It gave me hot dog bun vibes, which is why I'm going to try it again with a little minor tweak to make sure that we can get something good for this live stream. Okay? Now, as you can see, this was used this morning. I just did not wash it out with the previous dough. So I'm going to show you how to make the dough. And then I'm going to show you what the dough should look like once it's rested and ready to go. Okay? My timer is there. It looks like it needs about 2 more hours. Okay, we'll figure it out. So for this recipe, we are going to use, where's my book? We're going to use 200 grams of, not 200 grams, 300 grams of discard. I never really use that large amount for discard because I always have issues. But this recipe is calling for 200 grams, 300 grams, not 300 grams of discard. So we're going to do it. So again, my discard is active, but that's okay because we need active right now. So we're going to add, I just want to make sure you can see, we're going to add about 300 grams. I'm just double checking. Yep, 300 grams of discard. And again, last month I made shrimp po' boy. So I made the bread live and I coated the shrimp with the sourdough. So this is the recipe for that bread that I'm redoing because I had issues with it on live. So I'm trying to see if I can redo it and redeem myself with the actual bread recipe. But I know it's good. So that is about 300 grams of discard. Now for water, my original recipe called for about 40 grams. I'm not going to be doing 40 grams. I'm going to be doing closer to 80 grams, but I'm going to add the water in portion so that we can see how much water I actually need. Because 40 grams was just not enough because the dough was still dry. And I don't like the dry dough. And no amount of mixing was going to help it at all. So right now we're going to go with 80 grams of water. And I'm using warm water because my discard responds well to it. It mixes in nicely and we have a nice cohesive mixture to start with. And I know I just said I was going to mix it in stages, My head is not working this morning. It's not working. It's not working. Well, we're gonna see what happens now. But initially, I wanted to add the 40 grams first and then mix everything together and then add as I go. But we're already here, can't change it. It is what it is. So this is 80 grams of water with 300 grams of discard. So this is what it's looking like. And then we're going to add in about 10 grams of sugar. It just helps the yeast. It feeds the yeast in the discard, which is good because we don't have commercial yeast and we don't have anything else. Oh. So this will feed it, which is fine. So this is about 10 grams of sugar, mixing it in with the discard. Because again, like I said, it helps to feed it. It helps it to grow. Now, some of my recipes don't actually have sugar. So if I do have sugar, I'm adding it into the discard and the water mix, just so you know. Because I've had recipes that only have salt, but salt goes in with the flour, which is what I'm about to show you here. Yes. But salt and sugar looks alike. It looks alike. So now that that's mixed in, we're gonna add 200 grams of flour, and this is not sifted flour. This is just scoop it, weigh it, and that's what we have here. So we're gonna add it in. So this is about 200 grams of flour, all-purpose flour, and I have salt, which is about 5 grams. I'm gonna add the salt to the flour and just mix it because in my experience, salt tends to kill the yeast. Now, if you are able to add your salt to your yeast products, no issues, that's perfectly fine. I just don't practice that because I've had many issues with the salt coming in contact with the yeast. So I don't practice that. I mean, it may not make a difference for you, but I think it makes a difference for me. So we're gonna mix this together. So we have everything in here except the butter, and we will be adding butter. Now, if you don't want to use butter, you're more than welcome to use oil. However, you would have to scale back the water just a little bit because we're adding oil. But I'm adding. Hi, Aloni. No, I am making hot dog buns with my discard. I will refresh my starter later. But right now we're trying to make hot dog buns with the discard only. So we're gonna mix this up. Now, if I had only used 40 grams of water, this would be a dry right here. I don't want a dry mix. I want a firm yet soft dough. But because I added all the water at once, who knows what we're gonna. So just to encourage you, I like to get the flour from the side because it mixes in the middle versus the sides. So we're gonna mix it up here just to get it, get some encouragement. Let that flour be soaked up by the water so that we can see what type of dough we're about to have. It should be soft but firm, tacky, not sticky. Should, as you know, when we're on live stream, anything happens. It's a bit cool today, so I suspect everything is going to take a little longer. It's a theory. This is what your dough is going to be looking like. And then we're going to add in the butter. And this is 40 grams of butter. If you're going to use oil, use about 25 grams or 30 grams. So 20 grams would be about a tablespoon, roughly. No, 10 grams would be a tablespoon. So 20 would be 2 tablespoons. So we're just going to add that. We're going to let it mix. And we are going to see what happens. I'm very curious now that all the water is here. The dough forming is looking good. And once the butter starts melting into the dough, it'll be more elastic and smooth, which I always look for because I love touching dough. So I just want to, this is something I do all the time. So it's not just because we're live. I want to get the sides completely straight. I do like 2 or 3 times. One where the dough looks like this, right? Firm. But there will come a point when it's all the better, not the better, the butter is completely melted into the dough. It will be very smooth and very elastic, I find. And then you'll probably have to scrape just a little more off the sides. So we're going to do that. And if you're just joining, I will show you this starter that I use. So this is one of my many. I only have two, but I'm talking about like it's a lot. This is one. This is discard. This is kept in the fridge all the time. Okay. This is Frederica, by the way. I'm just saying. So we're using it up, but it's kept in the fridge. I don't leave it at room temperature because it's very active. And if I leave it at room temperature, it will cause a lot. And then this is the one we started with this week. I was worried about it for a second because it wasn't producing bubbles, like it wasn't active. And I'm used to this one, especially being super active. So this is it. This is also kept in the fridge. And I'm happy that I'm seeing a lot of activity. I know most people don't like this part. I do. I have no issues with it. Because I'm able to make bread same way I can make a sourdough loaf. The texture might be a little different in terms of it might not be airy, but I'm pretty sure if I want to, I can get a nice airy crumb structure if I use my discard. But anyways, this is what the dough is looking like. It's almost ready. It's not enough for me. I want to be able to pull this and not have that tear. And there's still butter in here that needs to be melted into the actual dough. So we're gonna mix it some more. Now the dough is not going to be jiggly because you know most people when they rest sourdough anything for a couple hours they expect it to be jiggly and fluffy. It's not going to be that if you leave it because right now I would leave it for 4 hours. If you leave it for let's say 6 hours, it'll warm. It'll get bigger. Right, it'll rise up. But it's not going to be jiggly with a whole bunch of bubbles popping out. No, not that. But it's still good. It works. I'm very confident that this works. And if you're joining, it's a 7-day sourdough series. We do this every month, 7 days out of a month. We do this. Sometimes it's easy breezy, and other times, you know, it's a bit challenging. That's okay, because I'm here to learn. Okay, so we're just gonna mix that in some more. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna oil my bowl. You can leave it in the mixing bowl as long as it's lightly oiled, but I'm just gonna transfer it to you. Now just leave it in some vegetable oil, nothing fancy, but you use what you have. You got avocado oil, you use it. Honestly, if you have olive oil, just lightly oil it. It's not enough to mess with the recipe. It's just enough so that it doesn't stick to that little container. But I'm excited because I know the recipe is good to work now. I'm looking forward to it. So as you can see, the dough it pulled away from the side. I don't necessarily have to scrape the sides anymore, but it's still not where I want it to be. However, it's good, right? It's breaking. I want it a little strong. Because you can almost see the window pane, but it's tacky. Like you should hear that sound. It's stretchy, but it's not soft where it's like completely breaking when you hold it upside down or anything like that. And it's not sticking to your hand like a really wet dough would. Okay. So we're all okay. It's refresh my starter once it's done, ready to go. And I think I may have had a little boo boo, a little that was my starter. Once we're done, I'll check it. Either way, I'm not gonna say I'm neglectful, because I'm not. But because I'm not actually moving my starter all the time, I don't refresh all the time. Usually, for optimal health, I refresh daily. I haven't been refreshing daily. I've been going about every 2 to 3 days to refresh, which for my starter is okay. Still active and still works. But it was supposed to stove while something was on the stove about one. So I gotta check that out to make sure that it does not affect it. I'm gonna clean the container and everything because I don't want the type of problems. Okay. This still not there yet. Cause okay, I don't know if you can you see the ripples? For me, when I do a window pane test, I don't see the ripples. It's 100% smooth. So yes, your mixing time may vary. If you want to stop here, you can. Am I going to? No, because I want to make sure this bad boy. And the crumb structure is going to be really tight, which I like. So fingers crossed. I know it's gonna work. I just want the mixing thing to be so fun. And you need to go a little more time. Right now it's between 4 and 6. So that's usually good, and I usually mix it in for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's been more than that. Or it might just be just about that, right? You want to use your hand by all means. Not everyone has a mixer, so mix it with your hands, knead it as long as you can until you get a nice okay? Doesn't have to be a smooth as mine, but as long as you get a little thing. Okay. Okay. But do you see what I'm saying? That you don't get the shagginess? I still see some shag, but it's a lot better than the last test that I did. So this is pretty much like a window pane. It doesn't matter if it tears out the side, but the middle is the what you're looking for, as you can see. So I'm just gonna give it one last big mix, and then we're gonna rest it. But I also like showing the different stages of the thing because that's how I learned. I'm a very visual person, so I learned by looking for the signs of the dough. The dough will tell you when it's ready. It really will. Like there's a science to baking. I almost get the science. But there's a science to it, there's an art to it, and if you do it correctly, you'll pick up on subtle things that will happen to the dough, how it will look, if it's on the mix, if it's over mixed. So I'm just trying to get everything here. Butter. Yes. Butter the other day actually. Yeah, I've been using the butter in the recipe. The recipe is since Sunday, and I ran out of time to buy. But I do. I make butter all the time. 'Cause right now, butter here is super expensive. I'm not spending $9 for a brick of butter. Not happening. Like regular butter. No. Grass fed. Regular salted butter and they want to charge me $8. Hi. $9. Can't do it. So whenever cream is on sale, I buy it and I make my butter. So I'm not doing any fancy ball. I'm just doing this. I like playing with my dough. I do. But as you see, it's soft, right? So we're gonna put this here and we're gonna cover it. And this needs to be covered and put in a warm place or room temperature if it's nice and warm for about 3 to 4 hours. And I say 3 to 4 hours because it might be ready in 3 hours. It might be um, doubled. You might look at it and be like, "Ooh, it's ready." However, I usually go all the way to 4 hours because I needed to do everything it needs to do because there is no yeast, commercial yeast. Okay. So my warm place is usually my oven with the light on. And what I like to do, even before I put this in the oven, I will turn the oven on for maybe 5 minutes tops just to get warm. And then when I'm ready to put this in, I'll open the oven door, ease some of the heat if it's too hot to the touch. If you can't touch the bottom or anything like that, it's too hot, you know? So I just do that so that I can have a nice warm place and the light keeps it warm enough. And it's let it sit for I let it sit for 4 hours. Okay, so I did make a dough previously, only this morning, and we have an hour and 37 minutes left. But that's okay. We're gonna make it work. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm gonna just to give my dough some time, we're gonna refresh this bad boy. This is my starter. As you can see, he's hungry. Okay? He's very hungry. There's no hooch or anything because he still has enough activity here to feed on himself. It's when I realize it's when you don't have any activity, no movement here. That's when you get the hooch and all that stuff. So I was boiling eggs this morning and I put him on the side. He was on the side on the counter and he got heat contact right here. And I thought I cooked it. Okay. I'm both. I was like, where's my bowl? So I'm gonna refresh him. So essentially what I like to do, just so that you're aware, let me bring all my children out, okay? That's just so you see. So this is Fred, this is Dad, okay? Dad. This is Freddie Jr. He was firstborn, right? Then this is Frederica. Okay, she's daughter, he's his son. Now, this guy does not like a dirty container that I find. And yep, looks like he got a little contact burn. Yikes. Freddie. Yeah, it does look like it started to like cook. But okay, we're gonna fix it. So what I like to do is after I refresh, I pick one to add it to. And I do like to mix this curd and what you call it? Start it together. I don't know if that's right. But I've been doing. This is just this is just me trying to figure it out. You know? At some point, I think if my starter doesn't like what I'm doing, it'll actually say, whoa, hold up, not do this because it's very it's very temperamental. So if you introduce the wrong thing at the wrong time, the temperature is off, it do all sorts of weird stuff. That's what I've been noticing. I make notes. Okay. So I can only tell you what I've been doing, but I made notes. So we're gonna refresh, give that one some time. I'm not clean this container because I don't like that he got contact burn. He just kid. Living his dream as a starter, minding his own business. And here I go talking about I'm boiling eggs. Too much. So my starter requires 250 grams of this baby right here. And what I like to do is sometimes half and half, sometimes whatever comes out, comes out. So I haven't mixed with this little one in a while. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I use about 130 grams of that one. And we're gonna add the remainder to make up the 250 of the little guy. I just like, oh, oh, that's a lot more than 250. Now I also find that even if I go over a little bit, just a little, it still works, right? Because I honestly think once you get the hang of it, it's more of a look and a feel and a ooh, that might be too much. Like you'll just know. Like I started this back in March. Again, I'm not an expert, by no means. I'm not an expert, but I've been making notes about how my discard and my starter behaves. And as you can see, like look at the color. There's such a stark color difference. So this is like a white. Oh, question. Am I missing conversation? I'm so sorry. You know what? Every time my chat, something's going on with this chat because I cannot see anything. Here we go. Now I see it. Okay. My apologies. So I was excited to see so cheerful and happy concert. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for showing up. Honestly, I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. I was saying about the color difference. Like this one kind of looks white, right? And then this one, and this one looks like mother of pearl. See that Colgate commercial? She's like, "What color are my teeth?" And they're like, off white, all that stuff. Yeah. Sorry. Look at the color of this one, right? And then look at the color of this one. So I know he's just been sitting here being all yeasty. We're gonna fix it. It's okay. We don't waste over here. We're gonna mix it, and if something, we're not getting a contact high because he really got hard. But no, he got hard, and the heat is just not where it's at. So we're gonna add this into the big boy because big boy is getting a rest from work this week, and we're just gonna use Frederica. But I'm happy because I'm making a dent. Because I don't think you understand. I've been trying to make a dent since March. I'm trying to like use up this discard, but ooh, the amount of feedings that happen to the amount of products that we make, yo, 7 days is not enough. Enough. We need more than 7 days for this because with all the refreshing that happens, I don't know. So if you are new here, I like to mix bottom to the top. First in, first out kind of way. See, ooh, I love it. I'm seeing the activity and the bubbles. I love that because I was worried about him for a second. So we're gonna just mix it up. Tomorrow, if you come back, you get to see how big Fred will be. He better be. He better be good. How you doing, Mr. Perfection? I'm so sorry. I did not see your messages. But we're gonna mix it up, if it makes it. Bring the bottom up. As I was explaining yesterday in my experiments and just making notes, I find a lot of the goodness sinks to the bottom. So like that rich sourdough flavor and smell, it sinks to the bottom. It really does. Because the container is so big, this is my theory. I'm not a scientist. Because the container is so big, when I add, the activity starts at the bottom and pushes its way up. That's what I've noted. So the bubbles all start at the bottom, push the way up. That's why whenever you get an overflow, it's everything from the bottom pushing it up to the top. And then you'll get all the nice richness, which just sits at the bottom. So I try to mix it in. And tomorrow is going to be our last sourdough for this month, our last sourdough day in terms of the bakeathon. And then we are probably going to mix Miss Frederica with Fred Jr. But we'll see. But you'll get to see what they look like tomorrow. Hopefully, hopefully he likes what's happening here. 'Cause it took him a while. It took him a while. Okay, and I like to scrape down the sides here because we do get some stuff stuck on. I'm not about that. Everything has a purpose, you know? Everything has a purpose, everything has a place, and we're gonna just make sure it works. So I'm gonna cover this back. I'm just gonna let it sit until we're done doing that. And I'm gonna wash this container out. We have about 20 minutes left. Even if I get in within the 4 hour mark, it's gonna be fine. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. A lot of them turn out really fine. So we're just gonna wash this container. I'm gonna cover this but because as with anything flour, it will get a skin. You don't have to waste this. Put a plate over it. I don't want to go for the plate. That's all it is. Okay. So into the sink. Yes. I'm gonna wash this out. It smells so yeasty. I think y'all need to know. Okay. That yeast smell, amazing. It just smells like a really powerful yeast product. It is. But it smells better than commercial yeast. It really does. Oh, I should not have watched this. Should have just leave that. So this is usually the process. And like I said, if you are new, I usually wash the container every 3 to 4 refreshes because my starter is bougie. It's bougie, bougie. I don't like a dirty container. If there's like anything on the sides, it's just not gonna work. And because I feel like I cooked just a little bit, I want to make sure his container is nice and clean so that we can have a nice visual of where he's starting from to where he's going to end up by the time we have our live tomorrow, honestly. Don't forget to vote. Vote for everything that you want to see tomorrow. So when you, how many options do you have? 2? I'm okay with the dumplings. Hint, hint. But I'm okay with whatever. So all things I've never made before with my sourdough. So it's gonna be a fun experiment. Oh yeah. See? It got burned. As I was explaining, it was on the side counter and the steam from the cooked eggs got to it. So it's stuck on right there. I hope he knows he's loved because I cannot afford. I cannot afford. And just so you know, my starter stays at room temperature. It does not go in any place warm. It doesn't go in the oven. Nothing. It stays at room temperature, and I let time handle that. I really do. I'm not about rushing the process because some people like kind of rush and they want to. Just like, oh my gosh, I want it. If I know I want to make bread, I prep myself time wise. So I know it's gonna take me at least. I'm just using it 10 hours. Make sure my starter is prepped and ready to go. So by that 10-hour mark, cool. I'm not gonna try and speed up the starter. With this starter, I leave at room temperature. The only thing I try to speed up is just giving it a little help, like I did this morning. It's just warming my oven, and before I put it in, I make sure I can touch the wrap. Because if you cannot touch it, it's too hot. You should be able to grab it without going, oops, oops, right? Because I've seen, yeah, because I'm doing a sourdough, I've read blogs, I've seen comments on videos, and people are like, oh, I killed it because I put it in the oven with the heat on. So that sounds like a bit much. My heat is never on when anything is in the oven. That's time sensitive. So there's just certain things that I do as a rule for myself. And I find that once I stop like comparing myself to someone else that makes the sourdough, it became a lot easier because instead of following their instructions as Bible, I used it as a guideline. And then I started paying attention more to my starter and all the things it's doing, the different color changes, the different smells. It's so much easier for me. So much easier. If you're wondering, I'm just washing my sourdough container, guys, because we had a little boo boo, we had a little accident, and now he's about to live his best life. It's like, right. I was so surprised he made it so far. Someone who really didn't know anything about sourdough, baby. I'm surprised. He's still kicking. The discard's still kicking. Like I can take this discard right now and make a fried dumpling, and it's the best fried dumpling I have made. I promise you. So I'm just very particular about what I do, and I try to push the limit to see how far I can go without refreshing. Because I'm not baking bread all the time, right? So technically, I don't think you have to refresh all the time. However, I think for optimal health, you should do frequent refreshes because that will help. And then, and I know we call these guys the discard. At this point, they're not necessarily discard, just sourdough adjacent, starter adjacent. But it's the terminology that people know. It's the terminology I use because it's active. And at this point, it's active and not fed. That, that's the beautiful thing. So I'm happy we're doing it because I get to learn in real time. Yeah, sometimes I'm very disappointed. Like my sweet potato bread and my banana pudding that was supposed to be a banana bread. Oh, don't worry. You guys are going to get a video showing you banana bread. And I'll do a full video because I did shorts for it. I'll show you a full video of banana bread and a full video in the fall for the sweet potato bread for sourdough. Because why not? You know, anything you can make with yeast, you should be able to make with sourdough. That's my theory. Works. Works. I'm most proud of my pasta, my ravioli this year that we made on Sunday. So proud of it. It's so good. So now that we're back to refreshing, I had to clean up container. So you see, this is where we're starting, nice and clean. I do think I'm gonna change the container. I need one with a more of an open spout instead of these ridges. So I don't know how to describe it, but I don't like this because this, sometimes it's hard to clean, all that stuff. But anyways, so we have 250 grams of starter. And then we're going to add 190 grams of warm water. Cold water might work. Not really hot. I think you should use cold water. I, Based on the temperature, I feel like that's how it works because mine stays at room temp. So I think if the place is hot, use some cold water. Today it's really cool, so I'm just going to use some warm water. Anyway, use whatever you want. And as you can see, it is not filtered water. There's nothing special over here. There's no filtered water. There's no special flour. I use an AP flour and regular tap water. That's it. And I use metal sometimes. Like, I don't follow any of these sourdough rules at all. I do my own thing. If it works, it works. 190 grams of water, 250 grams of starter. Now, if you go over with the water, and I know you're not using my ratios, right? But I find like if you go over like 1 or 2 grams, maybe even 10 grams, it's not going to be a big difference. But I also like to do this with everything. I add the water to the starter and mix. If I'm making something and it requires liquid other than water, I do the same thing. Just find that it's incorporated easily, it's mixed in, there's no starter lumps happening. It's for a smoother experience. I like easy. I really do. I do not like anything complicated. I don't. And I settled on this method because when I first started, I used to just dump everything in. So the flour, the starter, and the water. And to me, it wasn't being mixed properly. I mean, it may not even make a difference, but this is my way of doing it. It's my so just mix it in. Everything is good. It's nice and yeasty. What you can see. That's it right here. Now we're gonna add the flour. Where's the flour? So now we're gonna add the flour. It is going to be 375 grams of flour. And I think I was after like my fifth or sixth refresh, I stopped like looking at my book. I used to look at my book all the time for the quantities. After a while, it was just like we just going by look and we're going by feel. My starter is thick. Some people's starters are runny. Mine is thick. Mine is nice and firm all the time. Whether it's sweet dough, whether it's a savory dough, it's starting out from what you're gonna see right now. And tomorrow, if you come back here, he should be he should be at his peak, and he should look nice and ready to bake a bread. Well, we ain't gonna bake the bread. I went on like a week where I was just trying to perfect my own sourdough bread. I just stopped because it was driving me nuts. So we're just gonna mix this in. And yeah, so as you can see, everything is getting mixed in, no issues. The sourdough is spread equally throughout the flour. Everything is good. Right? No issues here. So like me, I use a spoon, knife. This is why I end up with so many dishes to wash because I just be pulling out spoons, knives, whatever. Also, I, it's a dose. So when it gets to this point right here, I tend to just grab it by my hands and feed it in. Just get all the little scraggly, soak them up, and not knead as if I'm going to be kneading breads, because I'm not trying to develop the gluten, right? But I want to make sure I get everything. Because do you know how expensive it is to refresh a starter all the time? Flour is not cheap, okay? I go through a 10-pound bag. If I go daily refreshes, my 10-pound bag of flour is done in like no time. So this is my starter. This is Fred. How he's coming. Okay. Tomorrow come back here and you'll see where he's grown to. And I just like to press just a little. It's not necessary. I just do it that. So I get to see a good gauge of where I'm starting from. And then we cover it. And then he sits in his little house. It's really just my table with my mixer. That's where he sits. He sits right there until he's ready. I did a time lapse once where I refreshed and just set the camera down. The camera was going for over 20 hours with the time lapse. But it's interesting to see because what happens, I don't know if you guys pay attention to it, but I do. What I find usually happens is that once it gets to, I guess, because right now it's probably already started, we just can't physically see it, but it will get, I don't want to say cloudy, but it will get misty in here. And I feel like that's the gases working to actually help it. It'll release the, I think it's carbon dioxide. It's a gas. It releases the gas that you can actually see it. And then once it gets to a certain point, the mist actually goes away and it just starts rising nonstop. I study this. Am I correct about the actual gas? I might not be, but I think it is, right? So we're gonna put him aside, let him chill out, and I'm going to show you the dough. I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna show you the dough, what it should look like once it's rested. You have about an hour, so this dough would have been resting for 3 hours. 3 hours is not bad if it's giving what it's supposed to give. So if it's supposed to, if it's looking the way I want it to look, then it's fine. Okay. We're gonna put this to the side. And then we're gonna pull out the dough so that you can see it. So remember, we just made this one, just in case you forgot. So this is the first one. This is the one we made on live. That's what it looks like. Okay. And this is the one I made at about 8:30 this morning. And it's been resting. See the bottom? It's been resting for about an hour. So I'm just gonna let it sit for a few more minutes. Because I just want to make sure it's good. I'm gonna give myself some room so that we can, because my kitchen is so small, I have some space. Everything that we're gonna be doing. Say goodbye to Fred Jr. He's back in the fridge, as well as Frederica. Because we're no longer gonna be using that today. I'm happy we're almost at the bottom of her. This is a huge dent. Huge. I've been trying to make a dent since April. So that's a huge bonus that we're almost down with that. Okay. Flour we don't. No. So because we're doing hot dog buns, I think I'm gonna line them on two different trays because I want to test something. I want to test putting them on individually and putting them on side by side because I want to see if it can stick together. Hey T, happy birthday, happy birthday! I gotta put this in my calendar. July 18th. Yeah, girl. Big ups to the July born. I hope you have a good birthday, girl. You can tell me all about it. What are you gonna do? What did they have planned? Did you go anywhere? What are you eating? Who's cooking? Answer the questionnaire. Happy birthday, girl. That's right, my birthday's coming up too. Woo. Birthdays. Birthdays. Birthday. Honestly. Okay, so we're going on parchment line. I'm gonna do two different colors of parchment. Why? Because I want to make sure I don't forget what I said I was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we should spam the chats with some hearts and birthday cakes. Tea. You've been with me for a while. Okay. In case you're wondering why I'm using white and brown, it's because I know halfway through I'm gonna forget what I said I was gonna do. So this is gonna remind me. One's gonna be separate, the other one they're gonna be kissing because I want to see if I can make pull apart hot dog bread. You know the ones where you bake them and you just peel them? Yeah. Don't remind me. So we can have. Listen, I told my God for my birthday was coming up. He was like, I didn't know how old I was gonna be. He was like, what? He's like, no. Yeah. It's been not long since you've been around. Okay. We're just giving that some time, honestly, because I just don't want to prematurely take it out. I really just want it to. Yes, for the birthday cake. It's this is your birthday, Dad. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Now let it rain and pour it out. Birthday. I really hope you have a good day, girl. I really do. I like cake. No, they need to upgrade these graphics because them cakes looking real okay. Boring. All right. So pool part gonna try, and we're gonna try standing, single standing. So I'm gonna move it to the side. Gonna wipe this down because this is exactly what we're using. I'm gonna use my bench scraper. And my work surface. See? Yeah. Oh, girl. What color are you getting? I love a good mani pedi. I broke my nail yesterday on live. Oh, listen, the pain. But what color are you getting? I'm excited. I think I'm gonna go coral for my birthday. Pastels, like right. So just cleaning this. If you even if you don't bake, I feel like you should get one of these. This works. Because anything that you think you clean, just run one of this over your counter space. And you just get pretty much everything. Everything. Anything that's stuck on that can't come out with like your scrub or stuff that you're like, wait, what is that? Yeah, just use that. Nice and smooth, nice and clean. Okay, so we're gonna have a little flour here. YouTube won't allow you to post certain emojis or gifs on your chart. Ooh, I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll message them. Because I think something's going on with the chat. The only reason why I'm saying that is because I still cannot see the polls. So something might be going on. Maybe I need to update it. I don't know. It is what it is. And now that I'm looking at this one here, this chat's not even showing anything. It's just too much happening. Oh, okay. Thank you for telling me that. I'll make a note of that. Okay, thanks. If there's anything else that's going wrong on your end, let me know so that I can actually let them know. All right. So this dough has been chilling in. Okay, wait. Do you see how this is frosted right here? This is how your starter will look once it starts. If you ever pay attention to it, it will look all glossy like this. Okay? Perfect example. It's kind of like this came out and then went back in. Kind of like the heat and adjustment and steam and all that stuff. Yeah, there's a science behind it. Not scientists. But this, oh, it smells so good. This has been sitting for 3 hours exactly. Okay? It has 1 more hour to go. But we're not gonna worry about the 1 hour. We'll use that 1 hour for our resting, right? So I think it's ready. 3 hours for this one was good enough. We're gonna, Lord, guide my hands. Because when it comes to this portion, it's like, wait, what? My brain goes blank and I forget what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm gonna add a little bit of flour, nothing to talk about. Yeah, this dough's ready. This took 3 hours, but again, my oven was nice and toasty for it to go in. It didn't cook it. It just really helped, right? So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna do it the right way instead of just randomly doing things my own way. We, you're welcome, girl. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy. Tell me, I said you gotta cook it, okay? We're gonna wait, and this is something I do all the time, and I don't think I've ever done it on live with you guys because I don't think we've ever done anything like this where it's like it has to be wait. Kind of just did my own thing, but because these are hot dog buns, well, they're supposed to be hot dog buns. We're gonna win. So we want 80 grams. This was 79. And the dough is nice and soft. Oh, it better. It should work. I'll make it work. So we want about 80 grams each. Typically, what I like to do is to weigh the entire thing. I just don't want to manipulate the dough too much. Touch it up like I normally do. The dough is fragile right here. It's very fragile. It smells good. It better work. So what we're gonna do, I'm telling you now, is because I'm just gonna move right into it after. Once I'm done rolling these and setting them in the oven to chill, we're gonna make my hot dogs. And you're like, hot sauce? Yeah. Lentil dogs. Southern really. My dough was out here just doing it's supposed to be sticky. Every time I try to pick you up, you just come in and practice me. You know what's funny? I took out 2 baking trays. I'm not gonna need 2 baking trays. I'm gonna need one. Maybe 80 grams is too big. Too small. It's not good. But I'm gonna do it. 80 grams. I think 80 grams is good. How big is a 100 grams is too big? I'm thinking about because what happened is even if you put 80 grams to weigh it now, right? Because there's water loss in the oven, you have to account for that. So you're gonna lose at least, I could be wrong, but you might lose anywhere between 8 and 10%. Something is screaming 12 in my head. You're gonna lose a percentage of the water that's in your dough. So that's why when you buy a bread package, they're telling you the weight after it's been baked. Some of them do pre-bake weight, which is not right because pre-bake weight and after bake weight are different weights. And online, you can test it out. Okay. It's something that happens. The water evaporates out of the dough, and you got a different weight once it's done. So 80 should be good. Now we could probably test the theory, but then watch the theory say I'm a liar. But it's true. Learned that learned that in school, and we had to do an experiment to see. We had to make sure that because the final dough our exam was the doughs need to be 60 grams each. So you had to make sure, I don't remember how I got to that. But you had to make sure that your weight pre-bake takes into account water loss in the oven. That will give you your 60 grams, right? So I'm not lying on this. Trust me when I tell you. Now, no, I don't know why this dough is so soft. It is not supposed to be this. It's kind of like my oven is just doing its own thing, right? I'm just testing one. Okay, so how am I gonna roll these? Have I made hot dog buns before? No. This is my first time? Yes. Have I made other breads before? Absolutely. Don't put too much water. Not water, flour. But the dough is soft. See how it's stretching here? It's soft. We're gonna ball it up. Because what I want to do, I want to start from round, and then we're gonna make like a little rectangular square. Yeah, the dough is soft. I don't know what's causing that. See? This is how I know it's soft, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. First, gonna start from round. Just get me a little flour. Nothing too much to talk about. Make sure you guys can see. Come on. These fruit slides. Cover it so you don't want to skin. I know it's still warm, so you know what this is reminding me of? The sweet potato bread all over again. But I know this is gonna work. Ask me how I know. Because I know if it doesn't work, it's not my fault. Yeah, the dough is warm. Just wanted to catch some air. And remember, I did add that extra 40 grams of water, which could be why. But we gotta make it work. So I'm just kind of rounding to start. Because essentially, what I want to do is have it flat, roll it up, tuck it, and then put it up. So kind of like a sausage roll. If you ever had sausage rolls, that's the theory behind how I'm rolling this. And it's weird because I send videos to my friend all the time of how to actually roll burger buns, hot dog buns, and watch me out here struggling. Okay, we're starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have an equal number. Part of 8. I just don't want it to stick at the bottom. And I'm gonna cover while I work my way through. Because if I know myself, I'm gonna sit here and be like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. All this jazz when I do. Like when you drive a car and you're playing the music loud and then you have to turn the music off to see where you're going. Yeah. That's what this is right here. Okay. So we're starting off here. And I want to do this section really smooth and clean. We're going to start with 1. And you see it. Yes. Okay. So kind of like a batard, right? And then just roll it. But the problem for me is my dough is just hot dog bread. That's the question. How big is a hot dog bread? The thing is, when it is, we might not be able to do this all on live stream. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's gonna need time. I already feel it. Like it's gonna need more than what the live can do. So we may have to come back on live. I have not decided yet. Can you see? No, you can't even see that. Is that a good hot dog? That's small, eh? Real small. That's small. I think I said still stands, but it's small. I just don't want it to. I don't want to rush it when I know it's gonna need time, right? Yeah, see, something's going on with this dough, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out for sure. This one needs time because you could probably because and the ends are supposed to be tapered. Hot dog buns are tapered. You need to rest because you're doing the most. Okay, let's try this again because it's so soft. Like, see, it's supposed to be tapered like this, but I just don't understand why it's so soft. I need to put the If you need a little water, just grab a little water. But the dough is soft, very soft. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just making it difficult for me right now. You want to make sure they all are the same size, roughly. But I'm gonna make it work. But I'll be honest with you, I think we may have to come back because I don't want to rush it. It's gonna need time to build up. Maybe by then the other dough would be ready. This looks like a skinny hot dog bread. Because in theory, it'll expand if it has the right amount of time to rest. I'm gonna make an executive decision. Just give me some chance. Some time. Give me some time. Let me think about what's happening. So let me think about it. So you start from round. That's not a lie. You start from round and it'll be good. See? Wrong. Something's wrong. But I know it's gonna bake. It's just how it's gonna bake is the problem. I'm just adding some more flour just to soak up the moisture because it shouldn't be doing this. And I will say this was my first dough that I made earlier. So it could just be that it was just really, that's when they say dough temperatures actually make a difference. So if you find yourself with a dough that you know it's not supposed to be so like stretchy and it seems really wet, add some water. Not water, sorry. Add some flour. Just a handful or a pinch. Because you want to add it just to absorb a little bit of the water. Like I know how to correct myself, but sometimes I get flustered, especially when I'm live and I'm trying to show people what I'm doing. So this is a learning experience for me. Because then I am trying to control my emotions when I'm emotional, right? I know how to correct myself. Sometimes it just takes me a little while. You know, as I go on, each dough is different. Like each bread. It's so big to be too small to be a hot dog. We're gonna have to roll this one again. This one is not. And because these are my hot dog buns, I don't care. They're gonna look how they're gonna look. They're gonna be how they're gonna be. But I really think that we're gonna let them rest for at least an hour. At least because they're doing something that I've never seen. Well, then again, the last time I did the bread, I had the same issue. But when I rolled it off camera, no problem. Because I wasn't talking so much. But it's okay. It's okay. So you usually start from around. and then you fold it in like this. Yeah. Taper the ends. So think, yeah, tapered ends, but you also don't want it too long because now because I haven't had hot dogs in so long. Listen, I don't even know how big a hot dog is. But we're gonna make it work. Yeah, it's a little. Honestly, I know this bread works. I promise you, every recipe that I gave you this week works. Some tweaking. With some tweaking. But this is definitely a learning experience for me. I'm not going to shy away from it. You know, some people are like, oh my gosh, why did you post it? Because I did it so you don't have to follow the same thing. You don't have to mess up the same way. And at least I try to explain how to correct, right? Even though you don't see me correct sometimes, it's how I would correct. I haven't had the time. Now I know because, everyone's taking time out to watch, which I appreciate. But I really think, because this might be the one time, oh my God, sponge. This might be the one time we actually break and come back in the afternoon. Because I do not think it's going to do what it needs to do. And to me, they don't have to be perfect because they're homemade. That's why I love homemade stuff. The ones I was going for, like, aesthetic looking. Oh, it's homemade. It's supposed to have character. It's imperfectly perfect. Now, if this was for an older, different story, right? But you just gotta maneuver, figure out what works. As you can see, my roll is getting better with each one. This was the first one. Then you see this one, then you see this one, then you see this one. These are really long. These might be way too big to be hot dog buns. It might be half the size. Maybe I shouldn't roll it that long, right? Let's roll these four shorter and put it on the other one and see what happens. 'Cause you won't know until you try, right? You won't know until you try. That's it right there. You just gotta do it. They look like mini baguettes, and hot dog buns, they're more rounded than tapered, right? If I'm not mistaken. They are more rounded, but that's like like they are more rounded than tapered. This one has a fat belly, kind of look like a dumpling, but I'm gonna roll this smaller. I'm gonna roll it probably like this size because this size might be a good size for a hot dog bun, right? But this was the same dough I used when I was making my po' boy. 'Cause I'm telling you, I stood live and I did the rest of the dough. Perfect. No problem. No issue rolling it. It was perfect. I wonder if you can do it like this. Boom. Done. Right? So I'm just trying to get the moisture out because it is a bit moist, which isn't a problem. It's just not rolling properly. This one should be ready. Start from around. Roll in like you would for a card. You just roll. Paper at the ends. It'll be fine. Fat belly, thin ends. It's the best way I can describe it. Right? But if you want like a sub, you gotta start from the front, not the front, the middle, and roll out. That's what you do to get thin, right? I want a fat belly and thin sides. That's what I want. And you might have too much water, not too much flour, so you gotta fix it. There goes for fun. But that's how you would roll it, so that you have even layers. And I know you see me like quote unquote struggling, is because I'm trying to make sense of my dough. It's not struggling. I'm trying to touch it to feel what's going on with it because it is very like softer. But if I can recall, the other dough was just like this as well. But that's okay. So again, if you have too much water, keep saying water. If you have too much flour on your work surface, just add a little water to where you want to roll, and you should get some traction. Not a lot, but you should just get some traction. Too much. Oh gosh, this dough is just it's nice to play with, but it is just doing the most for me. Okay, let's be serious here. You know what you're doing, girl. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna need some time. It is. I don't wanna rush it because I actually wanna bake it like this. But it is gonna take more than an hour. It is. It's gonna take more than an hour to rest. So I have a bonus live today. Still eating that one. I'm not stressing. Like, what is happening? Let's excess dough here. Okay. These are gonna kiss at some point. They may or may not kiss. I think they're gonna kiss. So not quite popped up red light, but it's going right. So they're not as close, but if they get the right amount of time, I know they're gonna just expand and just be glorious, right? So this is that, and this was the first set that I did. See, there was a big difference. These are a little longer. They're not as fat in the middle. And then these ones have a little big belly in the middle, right? It's okay either way. It's fine. I know it's fine. I just know I need to give it. So I'm gonna cover And I am going to let this particular one, this is gonna need some time. Not never expected that, but it's gonna need time. So what I'm gonna do, because right now we still have this guy here, right? This needs about 2 more hours roughly, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let them all rest in the oven, warm, and it's warm with the light on. There's no other heat. So we're gonna have to come back today because it's not gonna, I can't sit here and talk my way through it. It's gonna need time. And time is something that we need when it comes to this part. Because although it is active, it still needs time. It still needs time to relax, to have the gases build up, to double, to do everything. So what I'm gonna do is it is now a little after 12. I believe we're gonna come back here in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That way we can do both doughs. We can just have both doughs. I can roll out another set. It'll be fine because it needs time. It needs time. Because it's not even ready to roll, but in roughly 2 hours, it should be the bread itself should have doubled, being rested, no disturbance or anything. So we're not even worried about the second dough, this set. So we're gonna come back here in about 2 hours. If I go live prior to, you already know. If you are joining, this is a sourdough experiment. It's sourdough, 7 days of sourdough, sourdough bake-a-thon. We bake 7 different recipes, 7 days. And today we are doing hot dog buns. It's a recipe that I've used before when I tried to do my shrimp po' boy and the bread on live. Baked, but not for my quality control because it needed more time to rest. So I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to give it more time and we're going to come back here in about 2 hours so that it can work. That's all a part of the game. Would I have loved to have this completely baked and ready to go for you guys? Yeah. But it's not ready. And that wouldn't be good of me to bake it when it's not ready. Okay? So vote right now. Let me know what we're making tomorrow because I'm going to use this as our marker for what we're making tomorrow. And if you want to see something other than what's listed, you can let me know because I will definitely do that. Okay? So again, our doughs are in the oven. They're chilling. They're going to need some time. I'm going to set the timer for about 2 hours. 2 hours would be good. If it's ready within the 2 hours, I'm just going to go live. No questions asked, no issues. And we'll be back here. Okay? So I'm sorry that you can't see everything full right now, but it's the nature of the game. Okay? We're going to be back here in about 2 hours or less to bake the bread. Okay? Thank you so much for watching this portion. We're going to be back here and we're going to finish it up and we're going to finish strong. Okay? And if it doesn't work, I'm going to throw this recipe out. But that is it for this portion. And I will see you back here in 2 hours. Okay?